Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful live stream on the 11th of August, and I am once again joined by three lovely J-mods. We'll go from left to right very quickly. Hello, Mod Warden.
Howdy, guys.
There we go. We've also got Mod Timbo with a beautiful picture of himself.
My wonderful lockdown hair and unblinking face. That's me.
And Mod Ryan as well.
Hello. Yeah, also new with my lockdown hair.
I feel like it's a bit of a trend with the exception of Warden here. We're all rocking the COVID-19 haircuts, which is pretty cool.
I cut my own hair now.
Oh, do you do it in a mirror, or do you get your other half to do it or something?
Oh, I start with just kind of feeling around, and then I get my oldest boy to kind of finish it up.
Okay, yeah, I would be terrified of actually cutting. I would be terrified of cutting pieces of my hair that I did not want to cut, and then it looks stupid. Anyways,
man, there's a lot left of my hair.
I mean, it is not looking bad. I would say it's
shame I could
pretty
do like
slick.
a Maybelline look.
You want to do a flick? You want to do like a flick with it?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think a lot of people are here to talk about future content. Ooh, you're even moving around. So before we get to that, I would like to remind you all that Double XP Live is out right now. Make sure to use that Double XP to achieve those goals. And maybe after today, you have a couple of more goals. And if you want to have a break, we've got the Double XP timer pause as well in game. So if you want to briefly go away, you can, and you can just toggle that, and you can toggle it back on afterwards. This update, or the content that we're going to talk about, is the first piece of content of our new approach to development, isn't it, Mod Warden? Would you be able to explain briefly what that approach was?
Yeah, so last time I was on, I was talking about how our plans were shifting for the year, right? And this marks the beginning of the shift of those new plans. So we're just coming hot off the heels of an awesome July, right? We brought out Desperate Measures. We had a fantastic beach event. I know there were some naysayers in the community about that event, but it was an amazing event, very well executed. And we're seeing saw very high engagement from the summer event. So overall, awesome July, couple of great ninja deliveries and so on. So I'd like to kind of continue this discussion and say this is the beginning of our what we call H2 roadmap. And Alchemical Hydrix is what we're here to talk to you about today, right? And it's coming when? Monday, right?
Tuesday. It's going to be here on Tuesday. You're going quick.
That's right. But so really, what this is about, right? I only come to the community when I have high confidence in what we're doing, right? That's usually when I show my face, and so I can say I have very high confidence in our roadmap plans for H2, the second half of the year. And what you're going to see from us is a monthly ramp up of content. So there's a headliner for the month, right? We're beginning little light, little smaller, but as we get throughout the rest of the year, it'll get bigger and more important. And we're already looking at 2021 being our 20th anniversary year and starting to develop the roadmap for that. So we can get even further out, hopefully with bigger and better content. So yeah, that's just kind of a little bit of a cat out of the bag. I know the community knows we're working on Orphan. I mentioned that one last time as well. Not quite ready to reveal the timing of that. And then also in September, I mentioned that we've got a anniversary popping up, right? So we'll kind of sit tight on that one for a little bit. And then I think towards the end of the year, we'll get something a little more meatier. And let's see, what else did I mention last time? Oh yeah, I mentioned that we're trying to get another quest out for the end of the year. I'd say that one not fully 100% confident on yet, but confident enough that we're taking it very, very seriously. We'd like to get another quest out, hopefully.
Just to reiterate, you mentioned the word roadmap a couple of times. We are not releasing a roadmap ourselves, are we, Martin? Exactly.
That's right. But what we're trying to do is, get our batting average up on promising and delivering what we're promising, right? And this is a way that I like to work with the team on that. And usually, again, when I show my face, is usually a good side.
Yes. You already spoiled the name of what's going to be Alchemical Hydrix, so we'll get into more detail in a second. That's also why we've got Mott Timbo, Mott Ryan with us. We're now kind of for. Still, yeah, it's like we've got like a cool video and everything for it as well, so we'll show that in a second. But we're now 4 weeks into this new approach. How is it going so far? You think? Is it going the way you expected it to go?
Yeah, well, planning and pivots to planning are really cumbersome to deal with in game development. It's like we were starting out the year in one area, and with COVID and everything else going on this year, we did a mid-year pivot, and that takes a lot out of the team. We have to shut them down on their normal day-to-day to be part of that, and we like to involve our content devs in deciding the what and the specifics of what we're doing, and it takes a lot more work than I think people think.
It sure does, and I mean, I'm starting to see the fruition of those plans come to place, and I'm getting very excited as a result. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. Shall we start switching to Alchemical Hydrix? I see a lot of question marks in the chat about it as well, so I think we've waited long enough that we should start talking about it. Can we get that switch? There we go. These are two very cool items. To be fair, some of you actually already thought it would be Alchemical Hydrix, or at least in that direction, maybe some Alchemical Onyx items. We hinted that we would bring some new items out. These are these beautiful items that are going to come into game. They look very cool on this video. We'll probably keep it on loop for a while as well. I kind of want to pass the word to you, Mott Ryan, and would you be able to explain a little bit what these Alchemical Hydrix items are going to be and what the Alchemical Hydrix itself is?
Yeah, sure. So just a quick bit of clarity. For those that may not be aware of, we have an Alchemical Onyx in game. These are essentially the next tier up, using the Hydrix, which is the next tier of gem. What you're seeing on screen right now is the two Alchemical Hydrix items that we are releasing, which is an amulet and a brooch, which we will talk about in more detail shortly. And these are essentially, this is like the new highest tier gem in the game. It offers, this is the best amulet in the game. And this brooch is also, I want to say it's the best brooch in the game, but I'm pretty sure we only have like one brooch, and it's some random item, really low level item. But so that's those two. It'd be good to, we'll talk a bit more in detail about them. But yeah, so the alchemical. Do you want me to just go into detail? I can keep talking if you're ready.
Let's go straight into what the Alchemical Hydrix is and what the requirements and what your need for that, I would say.
So if we could get up the first screenshot we have available, there is essentially, so similar to Alchemical Onyx, this is a new blueprint that you need to learn how to invent, which you can see on screen right now. So the Alchemical Hydrix requires 117 invention, which, once you're 117, you'll have this available to you. You can then learn how to create the gem. And then if you could go to the next image we have, so you can create the Alchemical Hydrix via, invention. It requires a Hydrix and a bunch of materials which you actually can't see on screen in this screenshot. We do have another screenshot, but I believe that has the information in it, which we can show you. But essentially, it's similar to the Alchemical Onyx. It does require fortunate components. For those of you who are probably going to ask that question if I don't mention it anyway. So once you've created the gem, you'll have the gem available to you, and you'll be able to use this for to create two of the new Alchemical Hydrix items. Before we go into detail on those, when we were discussing it, there are ideas for future, Alchemical Hydrix items as well, similar to Alchemical Onyx. I believe when we originally released that, there was, I believe, 2 items. Correct me if I'm wrong, Timbo, or was it just the one?
It was just the ring, I think.
Just the ring, yeah. But yeah, so if you could take us to the next screenshot. So the Alchemical Hydrix requires crafting to make some of the jewellery itself. So the Alchemical Hydrix brooch, you can see on screen now, it requires 97 crafting, and you'll have to make use of Elder Rune bars. It's the first, I believe you call it casting, is that what it's called? Where you cast metal to create the brooch. Requires Elder Rune bars. Usually most casting requires gold bars. And apologies if people can hear my fan. It's very hot in the UK. I say very hot. It's very hot for the UK, so my fan is on. And it also requires 5 gold leaves. But yeah, and then if you could go to the next screenshot, we'll show you how to make the Essence of Finality. So this is the Alchemical Hydrix amulet. You'll notice here it actually requires an Amulet of Souls and a Reaper necklace. Now these are 2 existing Hydrix amulets. Oops, sorry.
I wonder why it requires those 2.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear you. But yeah, so as you can see here, it requires Amulet of Souls and Reaper necklace, which are the 2 current best amulets from the Hydrix tier. I say amulet, sorry, one's a necklace. But yes, so to create this, you need to combine both of these with the Alchemical Hydrix. So just to mention as well, so the Essence of Finality, this is our amulet, the Alchemical Hydrix amulet. It's essentially it's the combat item that comes from Alchemical Hydrix right now, and the brooch is a skilling based item, similar to what you may look at like Grace of the Elves, for example, which we will talk about in a bit more detail. I did just see a question in the chat, so I feel like I will answer it for you while we're here. Someone mentioned, can you use existing Hydrix jewellery? The answer is yes. It will need to be fully charged, so you'll need to put it back to 100% before you'll be able to use them. Similarly, you can also so you can take apart, if you already have an ornamented version of the Amulet Souls or Reaper necklace, you can take it apart and combine them together. So that's that. And Timber, I don't know if you'd like to start talking about what the Essence of Finality does before we move on to the next screenshot, before we move to it.
Sure. Well, there's a kind of a spoiler in the ingredients needed to make it, but yeah. So the Essence of Finality has both of the effects of both the Amulet of Souls and of the Reaper necklace. So it will have the second accuracy bonus as well as the other benefit, which I actually forgot and probably should have read. I think it's to do with soul split ? But yeah, so it'll have exactly the same benefit. It'll have exactly the same benefits as both Amulet of Souls and Reaper necklace. But there is also another additional effect with it as well. So there is a screenshot for somewhere, which is the 2 abilities.
So we could look at the amulet tooltip. There's a screenshot labeled, which we can look at.
Yeah.
This is the 6
so,
stuff.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that I'm excited for.
So yeah, you can consume a special attack weapon on the amulet and cast that weapon's special attack without having the weapon. So in this example, you can. Was that the Seren spec?
Yeah, this is the. I definitely sacrificed the. For this screenshot, I sacrificed the Seren Godbow and put that inside of my amulet. And what you're seeing here. Sorry to take over your. Sorry, you're explaining. So I didn't mean to. But yeah, so you can see here the Essence of Finality is a new ability that you gain when you have the amulet equipped, and the amulet can store any special attack within the game. It does sacrifice the item, so in this example I sacrificed the Seren Godbow and put that in the amulet, which allows you to then use that special.
And there is no way to get that weapon back. So once the weapon has been sacrificed, it is gone forever. You can sacrifice another weapon if you want to change the special attack. You won't get the old special attack or the old weapon back. The only other caveat to this ability is that you have to use it with the same style as the original weapon. So if you want to use the SGS spec, you have to use a ranged weapon in order to use it. But you can use any ranged weapon to use the special attack.
Yep, and
players are asking whether you... Can I ask a quick question, Ryan?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Players are in particular asking whether the Statues Warhammer you can also use on this, or use for this.
Yeah.
You have to use a melee weapon to use the stat hammer, but yes, you can use the Statues Warhammer. with this special attack. Any special attack in the game works, as far as I know.
Yeah,
some of them are quite
it's
outdated, but yeah, they all exist.
But yeah, so what you see, just to add to this, what you can see on screen right now in the screenshot, is that the ability at the top is when you don't have an amulet equipped. When you equip an amulet, you'll see the bottom one, which is essentially the special attack information that you'd see when you have a Seren God bow. It uses the same amount of adrenaline, everything you expect as per using the weapon originally. There are some interesting combinations, of course, and some special attacks, which on the suit, some of the very original special attacks in game, which you can still use it on a Hydrix amulet, but I'm sure you probably won't, because it's not necessarily the best special attacks nowadays. But the nice thing here as well, you can, if you're happy to invest, you can own multiple amulets with multiple items in them. So if you could take us to, there is a screenshot, I think I labeled it Amulet Tooltip. But yeah,
waiting for producer to find the image.
And just to clarify a couple of things, because it's coming up in the chat, if you use an item on this, it will be deleted, and then it's a permanent sort of sacrifice to gain the effect. If you're going to swap the special attack, it will be removed and lost forever as well. So in the example, if you're going to use a very expensive item, for example, the Seren God bow, you'd probably buy another amulet rather than overwrite that with, say, a Dragon Dagger, which I definitely wouldn't recommend. But you can see here, so this is the tooltip for the Essence of Finality. You'll notice that it has the special attack, Seren God bow listed. It also lists the 2 effects that we mentioned before from Reaper and the Amulet of Souls and the Reaper necklace. You'll also notice that it has increased stats as well here, which I believe, I'm guessing off the top of my head, but I think Souls is like 46. You'll notice here Amulet of Finality is 56.
The amulet, there is no special weapon charges. The amulet is self-degrades, exactly like the regular Hydrix amulets degrade, so exactly the same rate. It requires Alchemical Hydrix dust in order to recharge. So you can grind down an Alchemical Hydrix into 20 dust.
10.
And it requires 10, sorry. And it requires a certain amount of dust in order to recharge. I don't remember exactly how much.
So 1 dust, I believe, is 20%, I want to say, because I can find out for you, surely.
So it takes half an Alchemical Hydrix in order to recharge the necklace.
So the weapon itself, the special ability from the weapon itself will not degrade, but the amulet will, and that needs to be recharged.
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. It degrades like a regular item. When it hits 0, it'll be broken. When it's broken, you can no longer use the effect, the ability. You have to recharge it. And there is a couple of questions in the chat about are the Amulet of Souls are the Souls and the Reaper kits now useless? The answer to that is no, because you can actually here you go. People are going to go buy these now. Sorry. But you can now use these 2 kits. You can combine them to create a Essence of Finality ornament kit, and then that ornament kit can be used on the Essence of Finality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry. Go for it.
No, I was just going to reiterate a couple of things. So you please continue.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at the chat, seeing if there's any additional questions that come up.
Oh, okay. I have one from the chat if you want one. Can you use augmented weapons for this as well, and will it take the augmentations with it?
So yes, you can use any weapon that has a special attack. So whether it's augmented with an ice die on it. You can use it to sacrifice. Now, of course, again, I won't recommend. I recommend not sacrificing your ice die, whatever. But you can do it. It's just so that we aren't expecting you to have to go and buy a new weapon or buy a new of any of these items, because in the case of the Hydrix amulet and necklace, they aren't tradable once you've got them. Once they've gained some charge. And sorry, there was just another point on that just came up in the question that came up in the chat. If it has perks on it, if it has anything on it, you will lose all of that. We aren't, you're not getting your gizmos back or anything like that. If you want to sacrifice the item, you're better off, separating the gizmos, all those sorts of things first. There are already items for that thing, for that purpose.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'll reiterate of the essence of finality as well, is it? Yeah. Essence of finality. Did I write it down properly as well? That was my question now. Are you able to reiterate the requirements and the items required for that quickly?
Yes. So to make the essence of finality amulet requires learning how to invent an alchemical hydrix, creating an alchemical hydrix, which requires a hydrix and additional invention components, similar to the alchemical onyx. It requires fortunate components. I can't remember the other two off the top of my head.
50 fortunate, 50 refined, 10 precious components, and I've also got 2 rumbling components. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the new addition to the alchemical hydrix.
Cool.
And then once you've created the gem, you can combine the alchemical hydrix with you can see it on screen right now, but this is to make the brooch. It requires 5 elder rune bars and a gold leaf, whereas to make the essence of finality, you combine it with an amulet of souls and a reaper necklace. If they are already used, you will need to fully recharge them back to 100% before you can do so. And that is how you create one. And then, if you have the 2 ornament kits already for the reaper and souls, you can combine those 2 together to create an amulet of finality ornament kit, which can be used on the essence of finality to upgrade it to create the essence of finality ornamented. Right, there you go. That's the big summary.
That's
to clarify, it's 1 hydrix to make 1 alchemical hydrix. Some people got confused by Luke's Dutchness.
Apologies. And that's only one of the items, because we've got another one as well, which is the...
Just some more questions before we move on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes, so, please answer them.
The damage of the special attack on the amulet is on your current weapon, not on the weapon of what you sacrificed. So if you sacrifice a dragon dagger and use a scythe, knock scythe, it would do the weapon damage of the knock scythe, not the weapon damage of the dragon dagger. Subsequently, if you sacrifice, if you sacrifice Seren Godbow and then use a magic short, you'll do the weapon damage of the magic short, not the weapon damage of the Seren Godbow.
Yeah.
See a lot of excitement for this.
Yeah, some of the special attacks, like that you may think, I think some of them sound stronger than they actually are. We tried them all out, and some of them was like, it's just the nostalgia hit. I think of like, it's going to be cool using a dragon dagger spec or something, but it's not as good as it may sound. So yeah, not sure a dragon dagger is the best suggestion.
But it's not. They're not overpowered. It does feel cool using Gmaul or like AGS or something, but I don't know. Maybe we're proven wrong, but we don't think so. That's
the only questions in that. Okay. I was going to ask, what was the when we went into designing these alchemical hydrix weapons, Timber? What were the goals for this project, and how did we get to where we are?
Well, the goals were to make an item worthy of alchemical hydrix. To be fair, that was the aim for both of these objects. Alchemical hydrix is expensive. It's definitely the highest tier gem we will release for the foreseeable future. So we wanted to make sure that it felt worthy of actually sacrificing such a high level gem for. We feel like combining the 2 necklaces is great. It feeds back into hydrix itself, and the special attack thing is very cool. It helps a little bit with Switchscape. But ultimately, it sounds very cool, and is very cool using different specs you haven't seen in the game for a long time. So I'm excited to see what sort of combos and stuff people do, other than just statues.
Just to mention as well, if you have a Reaper necklace on right now, I think it's Reaper. On the spot, get confused, but I think Reaper is the one that it increases your accuracy, and there's a number of stacks I believe you can hold. if you were to swap the amulet, so say for example you have this Essence of Finality with, say, a Statius Warhammer, and you're carrying, I don't know, 2 amulets on you, when you swap the amulet, you won't lose the stats that are on, because I believe, yeah, we made sure that you aren't losing them if you're swapping from the amulet to the amulet. Just so that if you happen to want to do a Dragon Dagger special and then swap amulet to a, I don't know, a Dragon Longsword special, you can. But you will lose the stacks if you swap to an amulet that isn't the finality. Yeah. Yeah. So well, that's the amulet. I know that you asked a question about Timbo as well of when designing them. We of course, came up with a bunch of different ideas as well. So for for future, what is like the identity of Alchemical Hydrix now? It is the highest tier gear, gem in the game. It is beyond Alchemical Onyx, because we also discussed if an item exists, why isn't it if we design something, what is the difference between it being an Alchemical Onyx and Alchemical Hydrix? And yeah, so we do have some other ideas that we've got written down for future cool Alchemical Hydrix items. But yeah, enough of me talking about that. We can start talking about the brooch if you'd like.
Yeah. Let's start switching to that. So that the one we've been talking about is kind of like, best in slot might be potentially premature, of course, and I want players to figure that out themselves. But it's going to be a good item that you want to have. It's top tier, top quality, and that's mainly for PVMers. And then the other one that we're going to talk about now is mainly aimed at skillers, right?
Yeah, the amulet is definitely best in slot. 100% is combining 2 amulets.
That's true, but yeah, fair point. Take it away.
Sweet. Okay, so back to this image. Just to clarify, if you've joined the stream now, we're talking about the Alchemical Hydrix brooch, which can be crafted at a furnace. So you essentially cast Elder Rune bars, some gold leaves, and an Alchemical Hydrix to create the brooch. And then you need to enchant the brooch. So regular, as Hydrix jewelry is currently enchanted via the level 6, I think. It's the Onyx related spell. It's the same here. So you enchant the Alchemical Hydrix brooch to create a brooch called Brooch of the Gods. If we could look at the brooch creation image, I believe. So just here, you can see it here. The brooch is worn in the pocket slot. Now you may question, why do you put a brooch in your pocket slot? But it seems like the most fitting place to be putting this item. We of course wanted to consider, does it synergize well with Grace of the Elves, which we'll talk about shortly, because of course Grace of the Elves is it is a must-have to some degree at the end game of skilling, and we'd like the brooch to be similar in that nature. But yeah, so, and then if we could take a look at the brooch tooltip screenshot, I'll start talking about the Brooch of the Gods. Unless, Timbo, you want to cover it?
Yeah, I can do it, it's fine. There'll be one other reaction when we show the tooltip, I think.
We're trying to get the image up, so give us a second.
Yeah, brooch tooltip. Drum roll.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it until we see.
We're building hype. We're trying to find the image. Where is it? We'll get there. The fact that we have to use images is my fault, so I'll take responsibility for that. There we go.
There we go. So yeah, this is Brooch of the Gods. So, as you can see, it can store every type of decorated rune that we have in the game. It can store up to 1,000 of them, and what it will do is it will automatically take a urn from the brooch and start it whenever you need one. Ryan, do you want to talk about the quality of life we added as well as part of this update?
Yeah. So as Timbo mentioned, the brooch will specifically, so you fill it up with urns and it will take the urn out. And start it, so the urn will still be in your backpack when it's filling up. But you may have noticed before, if you've ever used urns, you'll find that you may turn up to the skilling location, you start skilling, and you get that message that says, you've already started an urn, that's in your bank, you need to finish that before you can start a new one. So we added general quality of life. So this isn't just for the brooch. We've changed it in general so that the urn will magically transport itself to your backpack if this happens, rather than telling you that you need to go to the bank to go and collect it. So if you have a started urn in your bank and you start skilling, we just bring it straight to you. That is not just a brooch thing, that is a general urn feature or quality of life.
Yeah, because we found when we were using the brooch, it was just really pissing us off, to be honest. So we thought the best quality of life was to change it and make it better for everyone. But urns is not just the only thing that's good about this brooch. I'll go in order on the tooltip. So all the portables that are out there, you'll have double the chance of things to proc whilst wearing the brooch. So things like portable wells have a chance to make extra potions. You have a chance to automatically string stuff on the portable Fletcher. You have double all those effects will have double the chance to proc whilst you have the brooch equipped. Also, very dubiously, skill distraction effects are enhanced. There is a tooltip that shows this later on. We won't go to it just yet. But basically, any skill distraction. So if you think about opportunities from archaeology, opportunities from mining, birds' nests, all the things at deep sea fishing, they are enhanced in some way. Some of the times it's just extra XP. Some of the times it's extra stacks. We'll show a screenshot of that once we've gone through the tooltip a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then the cool thing, which I think is probably what people are going to go plug in the chat for, or have done already, is this will give scavenging to skillers. So much like how Grace of the Elves gave the red drop table to skillers, there will be a scavenging perk effect using the brooch. So we have a screenshot of what that looks like. I can't remember what it's called.
It's called Brooch Blessing, I believe.
Brooch Blessing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So very similarly, so it works differently to Grace of the Elves. So Grace of the Elves, Seven Spirit spawns next to you, and then hightails it away from you. It doesn't like you. It runs away. It's really hard to click. What the Blessing of the Gods does is it'll actually spawn randomly, not next to you, but random in an area around you, and then stay static. It has the same timer as the Grace of the Elves. You can click on it from far away, so you don't have to move, and you'll get the scavenging components from there. But yeah, it will work with both Grace of the Elves and Brooch of the Gods, so you can have both active and they're both proc at different times. And then if we go to the skilling distraction tooltip, boom, there we go. So there's an option on the brooch that'll bring us up information in game. But here are all we calling skilling distractions and what they do. So Artisan's Workshop pipes, ceremonial swords, so all things that are considered to be distractions are enhanced. So a better chance of bird's nests, more XP while doing certain things, plus a multiplier on things like opportunities and sprite focus. So for example, in opportunities, the max damage you do is 7 times the opportunity. With the brooch on, it will be 8 times. And with the sprite focus, when you reach 100% sprite focus, you get an extra burst of precision. This will give +1 multiplier to that. So I think the top one is 3 or 4. Sprite focus?
Sprite focus is 5. It's 5.
5, Christ.
Yeah.
So it's 5. Currently, with the brooch, that will then become 6. So if it's 3, it'll become 4. 5 becomes 6. I think that might be all of them, all the effects.
Yeah. Just to mention, there's a question in the chat regarding. Probably shouldn't move my face off the screen. Regarding what scavenging tier is it? So when Timbo explained it, he's explained it as it is a similar thing to scavenging. It's not like it's literally a scavenging perk, but it works in the exact same way. So that when you are skilling, I know Timbo mentioned it, but just to clarify, it's for non-combat skills. So if you're training any non-combat skill while you have it equipped, there's a chance of this appearing. And when you interact with it, then you will receive 4 components of a specific type, and that is uncommon plus. The chance of getting rare components is rare, but of course we'll see how that rolls.
Also, another question about the urns, if you can bring the image back as well briefly, if possible. There you go. We don't see the prayer urn on there because that is not going to be part of this rush, right?
It can't be stored in the brooch.
We had some discussions about it, but that is not the the only decorated urn that will not be on there, because it is kind of more combat focused, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I don't even remember if it has a decorated prayer urn. I don't even think that exists because they're not named like that. Could be wrong, but yeah, this is just non-combat urns. Yeah,
exactly. Cool. I mean, that looks pretty solid for a skilling item. I'm quite excited for that. This is coming to game. You already said it at the beginning of this live stream as well, Warden. It's coming on Tuesday, the 18th of August. So not coming Monday, but coming Tuesday.
That's right.
This is because we are doing some of the work on this Monday. So the game update will also be on Tuesday next week, and then this is coming to the game, and this is kind of reinforcing. This is kind of the approach we want to take more towards the content as well. Am I right, Warden? Where once we are certain it's coming,
well,
we announce
this one
it
is
and we go.
Certainly this one's certainly a smaller starting point, but you know, I went to the team and asked them for a good kind of headliner content strategy for each month moving forward, right? So rather than waiting for bigger, fewer and far between releases, is that we get into a monthly habit of delivering more value to the players. Because I think they've been asking for this quite a bit. And so we're starting small, and we'll ramp up into something bigger. But this marks the beginning of our second half of the year strategy.
Yeah,
and then, you know, and we've had a bang up year so far, right? I think we've delivered a lot of content in a lot of other ways throughout the course of the year. So I think this is just nice and additive to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, there's some questions. Do you mind if I add them in?
Go for it. Please do.
So just to clarify a couple of things that people asked. The brooch is worn in the pocket slot. This means you can have Grace of the Elves equipped. You can have your Luck of the Dwarves equipped. They're all different slots. That's definitely something we consider when making these items. Is where do they fit, and how can you customize? How can you choose what you want to use and not make you feel like you have to pick one or the other. I forgot what the other question was. Oh yeah, Urn Enhancer someone asked about. So the way that the brooch works is that you just need a space in your backpack and it will pull the urn out of it. So the Urn Enhancer works exactly as before. One of the nice things about the urn thing is that if you just fill it up with all the urns for all the skills, then as long as you go skilling, just wear the brooch, you never have to worry about urns again. It's kind of the short answer for that. And also, does the brooch degrade? The answer is no. So the brooch, once you've made it, that's it. There's no need to repair anything there. That doesn't degrade whatsoever.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you for all this information. I don't really have that much. Like, you guys have done a phenomenal job answering everything. There is one thing I want to prompt you on, though, Warden. So we know what's coming this August, which is now coming on the 18th of August, where we're going to have these Alchemical Hydrix items. Then in September, we've got this anniversary kind of thing. I know that you're very excited for it. I've seen you talk an awful lot about this update internally as well. Are you able to give a little bit of a hint towards what direction players will have to look on top of what you've already given them?
Well, you know, it's like I always like good distractions, right? So I think that's the hint there. I don't know, what have players been speculating since the last time we kind of teased it? Did anyone come up with the right answer, or what anniversary will be kind of hitting in September?
I see a lot of D&D confirmed in chat now. So initially, it was in relation to a potential boss rework. To my knowledge, Corp rework or hard mode Corp.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah,
and this is D&D is a good solid guess. At least I'd like to think that it was a pretty concrete hint as well. But I think we can't make it too hard for them either, can we, Warden? So not quite yet. But it's it's cute, it's fun. I hope players will think of it being fun as well. Oh, absolutely. yeah, so we're going to see more things on a monthly cadence, kind of. That's the plan. Now you hear, are there other things that you'd like to tell the community as well?
Well, it's like, to be clear, like we're not moving away from a weekly release of some sort, right? Like we have so much activity going on, whether it's a Ninja Quality of Life release, whether it's dropping in some prerequisites for other work we're doing on our live operation side of things with TLEs and events and so on like that, right? It's like I'm hoping to have a nice showing at Halloween this year, right? I think I've kind of teased that a little bit. And I love Christmas time too, right? So I could see us doing some better events around those holidays, and yeah, like we continue to iterate on the other aspects of our business. Ninja's been doing a bang up job. Like I know sometimes things can get contentious around things like the DXP Live and so on, but I'm actually really happy with what we're doing with it. We've been taking a lot of different feedback elements along the way, and it keeps changing every time, and I think that's pretty cool. And we'll continue to change it, right? Sometimes we fumble on some of the communication execution of it, and that's all right. We take that learning and carry it forward. So, but I'm really happy with what we're doing, and I think the rest of the year content is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, like you said that, but like I really like how the various streams and initiatives are like blending into kind of this one thing. So like where we've now had the double XP strike, which now kind of just before the double XP live event. But we also had Moljek, for example, last week tell that there's going to be some lore elements that will also be embedded in the next Jack track that is going to be there, and that will also be standalone afterwards after the Jack track finishes. Like all these things, like kind of combining and like interacting with each other. I think it's going to be very exciting to see in this game.
It's like obviously I get insight in a lot of the data of everything that we do, right? We try and look at, do we do more of this? Do we less of this? Do we what else can we do with something in particular, right? Yak Tracks is a great example of that. Yak Tracks from a year ago, very different to what we're doing today. And the challenge put out to the team is I'd like to see more lore built into everything that we do, right? Just as that's a part of a starting point of our process. We try and do a narrative brief and kind of ground it in the lore. And it's like, been trying to do more and more of that in even things like Yak Track. We've teased it in the past on some other areas, bringing some Easter eggs in, or how we art it up and what the theme of the event is. So we're doing more of that. Yeah, but the sum of all these parts, right, is that we've had a really amazing year so far, considering the situation the world is dealing with. I love that there's an outlet for players, to express themselves and have some fun. It's tough, right? And I know I'm getting bored sticking at home all the time. I want to be with the team, and I want to hear the vibe of the floor in its most natural habitat, right? So, yeah.
Thank you for that. I see a lot of times the words Elder God Wars Dungeons 3 being mentioned. Would you be able to reiterate what you said about a month ago on that as well, please?
Yeah, what I mentioned there is that this is something that we have in development. Right now, our focus has been getting the second half of the year content ironed out and in a spot that we can be highly confident in its delivery. I want to bring Elder God War Dungeon 3 content out because that's what we've been teasing with a lot of our storylines as well. We're just not in a position to do that just yet. But we continue to work on it.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for clarifying that as well. I think it's worth reiterating what we've said before on that. Were there any questions, Mult Ryan and Mult Timbo, in relation to the Alchemical Hydrix weapons in the chat that you guys still wanted to answer, or that popped up?
Yes, someone mentioned something about degradable items that you use on the. I think they mentioned the Statius Warhammer. The amulet doesn't. The amulet doesn't have additional charges. By that I mean, once you use the Statius Warhammer on it, it's in the amulet forever until you decide to remove. To override it, because you can't remove the item. But there is no number of charges for the special attack once you put it inside. And then the ornament kit question again. The Amulet of Souls kit and the Reaper Necklace kit can be combined to create an Amulet of Finality kit, and that kit can be used to make this amulet or necklace. They were the only questions, I believe.
Multimo, did you see any others?
No, but if you do have more questions, feel free to Twitter us.
Yeah, you can find Ryan Multimbo on Twitter. So if you've got any questions, ping them at them. We've still got double XP live, so if you don't have 97 or 99 crafting yet, might be a nice time to go for it, because you will need those for these cool new Alchemical Hydrix weapons, as well as a good invention level, 117, to create the Alchemical Hydrix itself, even though that is slightly less efficient to train during double XP, of course. With that said, these items are coming into game on August the 18th, on the coming Tuesday. So get ready to upgrade your skilling and PVM, I would say. And with that said, I've said everything we needed to say. I don't think there's anything we've missed. So I would like to say my lovely catchphrase almost. It's turned into it. It is. Oh, I'm mumbling. Apologies. But yeah, look after yourselves. Seeds.